guys are still illegally signing people in under the statute, third-degree felony?
Have a good day.
I'm
not out to talk to you. Have a good day.
I want to inspect the sheet under the sunshine law.
Let me talk to my supervisor.
What is it? I want to inspect the signing sheet.
Okay.
Can you inform her that she does have to let me do this?
I'll take care of that. Go ahead and inspect the sheets.
I think she knows it because I've seen her here before. This is all? There's a lot of people here. There's more sheets inside?
I'll bring them up.
Who is signing up front? That's for hunting?
I would assume so.
Okay, do they just have to sign in, or are they going to show ID too?
I don't have a clue. Guy who doesn't like the sign-in process.
Well, I don't like it. I don't.
That's why it's against the law.
Well, I don't like what you're doing.
That's why it's against the law. That's why we're trying to stop it. Huh?
Do you have a card or something?
He has his own website. You can look it up.
Yeah, Charlotte County COPWATCH. That's why we're stopping. It's a third-degree felony for them to collect information, and they're violating the law. So we're trying to stop it. We're on your side. I'm a Second Amendment owner. Can I give you my card?
Absolutely.
So no, we're trying to stop it.
Okay.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir. Because how long has it been here? You remember years ago they didn't do this.
Right. Now this happened within the last year.
Yeah, no, actually it was my friend Ian. Do you remember the one that like 6 or 7 months ago he was protesting here? Actually, do you remember how bad it was? Because they were actually in the beginning asking for your ID,
Yes.
your address,
Yes.
your gun.
Yes.
It was nuts.
I got you.
So by the way, I'm for police. I'm just not for corrupt police. So we do corruption plus we do COPWATCH stuff.
Okay.
So no, I'm for you, dude.
Okay.
I like guns. Okay.
Yep.
All right. But that's why we're showing people that this is illegal. That's why, because people can get the name and it's out there. They're just saying.
Okay.
You have a good day.
I better double check.
Did you guys sign in today?
No.
All right. So you guys are going to, or?
Yeah.
All right. Did you know that it's a third-degree felony for them to collect this information?
What it is?
It's a state statute.
Wait, if we do sign it or don't sign it?
No. The reason why Florida actually did a good thing here, they made it a third-degree felony for them to get any kind of information on you with guns, because as you know, we're supposed to be a free country. You're not supposed to be collecting data, etc. Is it all right if I give you my card so you can look up our website? We're trying to stop him from doing it. Is that
Oh
all right?
no, we're just guests right now, man. So yeah, I'm
All
okay
right.
unless he wants to. Yeah.
Do you want a card?
It doesn't really bother me. I mean, we're just signing into the ring.
Right. No, I know, but they're still collecting your name. Which, you know, if they didn't know he had guns before, they know now. Oh my God, you're Michigan? Are you really Michigan? From Michigan?
Yep.
I'm Wyoming, Michigan. Where are you?
Harbor Springs. So, all the way up here.
Oh, all right. That's a different country.
Yeah, basically. At that
All right.
point. That's everything like Canada.
Hey, when you get a chance, look at it though. The YouTube channel went up in 3 years. We hit 42 million fighting corruption here and nationwide.
Cool.
42,000 subscribers, and I make no money.
Yeah.
I do it for freedom.
I'll
All
take
right.
a look at it. Thanks.
Thanks, man. Did you guys have to sign in here?
Yeah.
Sign in.
Yeah. Did you guys know that there's a Florida state statute that it's a third-degree felony for them to collect names?
Actually, I didn't sign in. I put $3 in an envelope for the park entrance
Right.
fee, and then I saw the table there.
Oh, you did it up
and,
there.
And I
All right.
stopped, and I just asked
Right.
her because I've never seen anybody sitting there, and I think that the registration wasn't at all for the gun range. It's only for hunting to validate
Well,
your hunting license.
Guess
and
what?
stuff.
They want you to sign in over here too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So this is the reason why I'm here. I'm letting people know. Florida actually did a good thing. They actually made a statute, third-degree felony, for Florida to collect names because it's illegal, man. It's kind of like what Nazi Germany did. They collected the names, they found out who had the guns, and they took them away. You know what I mean? So it's not illegal for you to sign it, but it's illegal for the state to collect that
I understand
information.
what you're saying.
So is it alright if I give you my card so you guys can look up our website if you want?
What are you?
We fight government. No, I wish. No, we fight government corruption here and nationwide. Our channel on YouTube has already just hit 42,000 subscribers. We're fighting corruption. We're fighting for freedom. You know what I mean?
You give me your card.
I don't know that I want to hang out with you very much, though. Get me blacklisted.
Right.
But,
no comment.
sure.
No, you won't be
I'll take a peek
blacklisted.
at it.
But I'm just letting people know. I'm sorry. That that it is illegal for them to collect names.
Oh, I thought they were doing that to count how many people came in.
They've had so many BS reasons. It's not even funny. Which country are you from?
U.S.?
Okay, no, I know. I was going to say, I thought I heard Cuba because I just heard Castro
I
died.
was born in Puerto Rico.
Okay, so you heard Castro died?
Am I what?
Did you hear Castro died?
Castro? He did?
He
I'm
is
not
dead.
Cuban,
They're
but
in
okay.
Miami in the street celebrating right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have to do a little dance.
I know. Go to Miami, hit the pots and pans like that
Yeah.
right now. Anyway, so check it out when you get a chance. It's illegal for them to collect names because it's just like that's how Nazi Germany did it. You know what I mean? That's why they made a statute against it. You have a good day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Sir, do you know, is that legal for them to collect names here to sign in to shoot?
Yeah, it's a waiver for liability from us making
Right.
a mistake.
Well, that's what they say, but did you know that there's a Florida statute that it's a third-degree felony for them to collect names?
Well, they work for the state.
I know.
The state.
I know. So anyway, but there really is a statute. It's a third-degree felony for them to collect names because they're basically starting a data list of everybody who's been here, who has a gun, and etc. Is it right if I give you my card so you can check out our website? We're trying to stop it because it's illegal. They I don't know if you know, they never did this before. You know what I mean?
Well, they probably got sued. That's usually where forms come into play.
Well, that's
I worked for property management.
Right.
Our leases back in the day used to be really this big. Now
Right.
they're that big.
Right.
For all the times we've been sued.
Right. So that's the excuse that they give. But this is were you here about 6 or 7 months ago when they started doing it? This is how bad it was in the beginning. They were set up at the gate and they had tables out. Guess how much information you were getting then? Your ID, your address, what kind of gun you had. It was outrageous.
Oh, that makes sense.
Thank you. So we've been fighting it for this long. We got it down to where you can sign in. So basically, okay, here's a hint until they change it again. Well, they got to quit breaking the law. Is when you sign in as
you can
Richard
edit it.
Head, yeah, or FU, whatever, Freedom Reigns. So, but a lot of people don't know. It is, when you get bored, look it up. 3rd-degree statute. It's a felony, and they're not supposed to be doing it. So, anyways, what's your name?
What's that?
What's your name?
James.
Andy. Good to
Pleasure
meet
to
you,
meet
man.
you.
You have a good day.
You too.
Sir, did you guys know that it's illegal for them to collect names here? It is. There's a Florida actually did a right thing. I know it's hard to believe, but they actually made a statute. It's a 3rd-degree felony for them to collect any kind of documentation
Why
on a
did they
gun
do
owner.
that?
Because they're breaking the law. We've been fighting it for 6 months. Did you hear what they were doing 6 months ago?
No.
When you came into the gate right there, they had all these tables out. You had to show your ID, your address, your email, what gun.
What?
Did Nazi Germany do that?
That's
And then they took the guns, right?
That's crazy.
So, is it all right if I give you my card so you guys can see our website? We've been fighting it for months, like I said, and we're up to 42 million views.
Oh, yeah.
42 million views, 42,000
But
subscribers.
this is illegal what they're doing.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be collecting names. They're creating database of all the gun owners. So, like, let's say if you bought a gun from a friend and the government didn't know, now they know. So it's a 3rd-degree felony for them to do this. We're trying to fight it and get them to stop.
Yeah, I've been coming here for a long time. They never had that
Thank
before.
you. See, he remembers.
Yeah, they never had that before.
He's
So
an
I was
instructor,
surprised
so-
to.
Oh wow.
I'm surprised to make you sign.
Yeah. So they give the excuses for liability. You want to know? I know proof that's a lie. Guess what? My friend was in the. Somebody did road rage on him. He had to defend himself, right? When the sheriff was questioning him at Charlotte County, they looked up when he was at the gun range. They're already using it.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So if you want your freedom, you fight it, and check out the website when you get a chance. Okay.
Thank you.
You have a good day. Yeah. Tell your friends.
What website?
Did you know that it's illegal for them to be signing people in here? Okay, you're already here.
Yeah.
Can I give you my card?
I
Yeah,
can't
we-
do anything, so.
Yeah, we've been fighting it for months. Do you remember Ian's videos when he was here 6 months ago?
No, we was here like 2 years ago. That wasn't anything.
So you weren't here 6 months ago?
We were, but I don't remember any videos.
And by the way, we're not into burning down cities.
We're free to die. That's funny. I'm from New Hampshire. It's our state motto.
Oh.
On our license plate.
So what happened is 6 months ago it was even worse. They had tables set up over here.
Yeah. Oh, actually, excuse me. That's right. As soon as we pulled in.
Yeah. So Ian was the one guy 6 months ago that was out there protesting. This is how much they hate him. You know what they did? Trespassing from the whole park.
How the fuck did they do that?
Thank you. So we're also looking for a good lawyer. If you know a good lawyer, yeah, dude, they're trespassing from the whole park to telling people the truth. Yeah, that is sad.
That's funny you should say that. Right, we were down, I forgot.
Andy, good to meet you.
We were down 2 years ago.
Right.
I was there first time I go to that class, something like that. The guy's asking me all these questions. I got nothing to do. He's like, "What's your background?" I'm like, "I'm retired military." Retired military. He's like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "What branch?" I'm like, "Oh, I mean," he's like, "So you're familiar with guns?" I'm like, "I was a Ranger for 11 and a Green Beret for 12. Yeah, I'm pretty sure." And the guy's like, "Oh, really? Well, there's no full auto here." I'm like, no shit. I'm looking at my wife. Right.
I know. Dude.
Oh, no kidding? Really? Just because I was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
fucked
you
up.
do remember.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that's
cool. I'll
that's
check out
why
the
we're
site.
that's why we're fighting it. 42 million views. I don't make any money. I took the money away a long time ago. 42,000 subscribers.
Good.
Fighting corruption.
Yep.
Like your state, live free or die.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You have a good day, man.
You too.
third-degree felony. So we've been fighting it for 3 years and trying to tell people about it. Is there anything you can card for the website?
We don't really care involved,
All right, well, just so you guys know, it is a third-degree felony. They're not supposed to be doing it. They are creating a database. That's why they made the statute not to do it, and they are doing a database. I already know people where they were using it on it. So, yeah. Remember Nazi Germany? Yeah. If we don't stop it, it's coming here. So, anyways, all right, you have a good day.
Thank you.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and we have a story of still ongoing corruption. I haven't been out there for a long time, but Cecil Webb is ran by the FWC. This is Florida Wildlife, and they are illegally collecting signatures of everyone that shoots at the gun range. And that's what I have right here. Here's a statute. It's a third-degree felony, and they know it, and they don't care. They've been doing it for actually 8 months to almost a year now. And so I went out there today to see if they're still doing it. They are still doing it. I let some people know I really need to go out there with flyers of the statute, and I'm going to read it. I'm going to have my screen reader read it here after this, but I just wanted to, for you guys to see this quick before I get into the reason why they made it as legal is because, Nazi Germany documented everybody, then took their guns and then killed a crap load of people. Many communist countries did. China did, etc. Russia did. And that's, Florida actually did the right thing here where, it says you cannot do it. And like I said, I'm going to do my reader after this, but just to show you guys, it is real. 790.335. It's in here, and they are creating a database. The cops are already using it, sharing it. If you get I knew a guy that was in a road rage incident, had to defend himself, and they brought it up in an interrogation. How many times did you go there? They were cross-referencing with it. So it's really scary. It's like when I came back to Florida some years ago, it felt like a different world. I mean, it's going so socialist, fascist, Nazi. It's so quick, it's not even funny. But so here's the reason why they did it. Like I said, because they're creating a database of everybody that's got a gun, that's been at the gun range, and etc., and that's illegal. And this is why, because anybody can get it. So I, under the Sunshine Law, asked if I could look at and document the papers of the sign-in sheet, and this is why it's illegal. Anybody can get this. So the cops love this because now they know who's got a gun, when that's got a gun, what time they were there. They got a signature off the people. They got a printed name. You know, I actually had one person freaking out when I was taking a picture of this, and then I let them know I am for the Second Amendment, and we're trying to stop the abuse of this, you know, because they're breaking the law. And, you know, then he melted down, gave him my card, and you'll see that in the video. But, you know, this is why they're freaking out. Because even he said it. He's like, holy crap, now somebody knows who I am. I mean, look, we know that Paula is, Vincent is, James is, Eric, Zach, Amanda, David. You know, one thing I told some people, and you guys got to remember too, is you can, it was so bad in the beginning, like 6 to 8 months ago, they had a table set up when you first came into the gun range. And, I mean, you were given your ID, your address, what kind of gun you had, just your email, your phone number. It was nuts. And then another guy that's fighting corruption here, Ian, he was fighting it. He was literally protesting there. I was fighting it by, you know, YouTubing it, going in and documenting it with video. So he did so well, and they were so scared of Ian, they trespassed him from I think it's a 2,000 acre park. The whole freaking park. Nobody's ever heard of this happening. And just because he was letting the sheeple know that this was illegal. So this is why Florida actually did this, is because this is showing you that anybody can find out who's got a gun, and you can look up the names, you can maybe find out where they are. They're probably from this area, but you know, so that's why it's illegal. I mean, so look at this. And by the way, the first lady you'll see in the video, she wouldn't. She goes, "I can't talk to you," and then I had to get the manager of the gun range, and he's like, "All right, fine, I'll give it to you." And so yeah, look at all these names: Bob, Wade, Ted, Jane. So this is what the Nazis did, and they're doing it here. And like I said, when I got the manager, they were just going to give me the first page, and I was like, man, there's a lot of people here. There's way more. And then he goes, all right, I'll get the rest. So they weren't even going to give me the right people at that time. But I mean, look at this. This is why they make it illegal, man. They're documenting. Shooting range claims assigned. That's a BS. They're saying it's release in case they're sued. That's a freaking lie, man. Come on, liars. Kevin, Randy, Sophia, Tom. There you go. There goes your. Once nobody knew who you were. Well, now the government does. John, Eugene, John, Keith, Calvin. Tells you when you were there, and like I said, this is all being put in a database illegally in Florida. It's their own statute. It's a third-degree felony, and they don't care. They've been doing this for months. They love it. Like I said, I already know somebody they used it on. They were cross-referencing, and yeah, look at this: Jesse, John, Vic, Sean, Gabe, Austin, Shelby, blah blah blah. And like I said, while I'm there documenting this under the Sunshine Law, which I have the right, a guy started to partially freak out until he found out I was not against guns. I was for guns, and I was trying to stop this illegal documentation. So this is the reason why, because anybody can get this stuff. I mean, look at, here you go. Everybody's names here, man. I mean, do you like this? I don't like it. I don't even shoot there anymore because of this bullcrap. There is one thing that you can do. They quit doing ID, so you can make up names. So you can say F you, bite me, shove it up your ass. You can write that down, stuff like that. But for now, they know Kyle was there, Russell was there, Terry was there. It's insane, man. You people need to wake up and see what Germany and all these other communist countries did, because this is what they're doing right here in Charlotte County, Florida. And I just screwed it up. So did I screw it up? I think that's the last one. So there you go. Let me zoom, and there you go. Sad, very sad. And like I said, I'm going to have it a screen reader read the whole statute. You will see that this is illegal. In fact, maybe I'll even, I can't screen read this because, oh God, whatever. Just, this is enough, man. You got the video of me being in the park, the video of them not being nice, letting me see the stuff, trying to inform people. You see the names here, and then we're going to read the statute. That's enough. That's a lot. Stop the tyranny. Wake up, sheep. You are not free. Everything is illegal.
The 2016 Florida Statutes. Title XLVI Crimes Chapter 790 Weapons and Firearms View Entire Chapter 790.335 Prohibition of Registration of Firearms. Electronic Records. 1. Legislative Findings and Intent. A. The legislature finds and declares that 1. The right of individuals to keep and bear arms is guaranteed under both the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and S. 8. Art. I of the state constitution. 2. A list, record, or registry of legally owned firearms or law-abiding firearm owners is not a law enforcement tool and can become an instrument for profiling, harassing, or abusing law-abiding citizens based on their choice to own a firearm and exercise their Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms as guaranteed under the United States Constitution. Further, such a list, record, or registry has the potential to fall into the wrong hands and become a shopping list for thieves. 3. A list, record, or registry of legally owned firearms or law-abiding firearm owners is not a tool for fighting terrorism, but rather is an instrument that can be used as a means to profile innocent citizens and to harass and abuse American citizens based solely on their choice to own firearms and exercise their Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms as guaranteed under the United States Constitution. 4. Law-abiding firearm owners whose names have been illegally recorded in a list, record, or registry are entitled to redress. B. The legislature intends through the provisions of this section to 1. Protect the right of individuals to keep and bear arms as guaranteed under both the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and S. 8. Art. I of the state constitution. 2. Protect the privacy rights of law-abiding firearm owners. 2. Prohibitions. No state governmental agency or local government, special district, or other political subdivision or official, agent, or employee of such state or other governmental entity or any other person, public or private, shall knowingly and willfully keep or cause to be kept any list, record, or registry of privately owned firearms or any list, record, or registry of the owners of those firearms. 3. Exceptions. The provisions of this section shall not apply to A. Records of firearms that have been used in committing any crime. B. Records relating to any person who has been convicted of a crime. C. Records of firearms that have been reported stolen that are retained for a period not in excess of 10 days after such firearms are recovered. Official documentation recording the theft of a recovered weapon may be maintained no longer than the balance of the year entered, plus 2 years. D. Firearm records that must be retained by firearm dealers under federal law, including copies of such records transmitted to law enforcement agencies. However, no state governmental agency or local government, special district, or other political subdivision or official, agent, or employee of such state or other governmental entity or any other person, private or public, shall accumulate, compile, computerize, or otherwise collect or convert such written records into any form of list, registry, or database for any purpose. 1. Records kept pursuant to the record-keeping provisions of S. 790.065. However, nothing in this section shall be construed to authorize the public release or inspection of records that are made confidential and exempt from the provisions of S. 119.071 by S. 790.065 4a. 2. Nothing in this paragraph shall be construed to allow the maintaining of records containing the names of purchasers or transferees who receive unique approval numbers or the maintaining of records of firearm transactions. Firearm records, including paper upon transaction forms and contracts on firearm transactions, required by Chapters 538 and 539. 1. Electronic firearm records held pursuant to Chapter 538 may only be kept by a second-hand dealer for 30 days after the date of the purchase of the firearm by the second-hand dealer. 2. Electronic firearm records held pursuant to Chapter 539 may only be kept by a pawnbroker for 30 days after the expiration of the loan that is secured by a firearm, or 30 days after the date of purchase of a firearm, whichever is applicable. 3. Except as required by federal law, any firearm records kept pursuant to Chapter 538 or Chapter 539 shall not, at any time, be electronically transferred to any public or private entity, agency, business, or enterprise, nor shall any such records be copied or transferred for purposes of accumulation of such records into lists, registries, or databases. 4. Notwithstanding subparagraph 3, second-hand dealers and pawnbrokers may electronically submit firearm transaction records to the appropriate law enforcement agencies as required by Chapters 538 and 539. However, the law enforcement agencies may not electronically submit such records to any other person or entity and must destroy such records within 60 days after receipt of such records. 5. Notwithstanding subparagraph 3, second-hand dealers and pawnbrokers may electronically submit limited firearms records consisting solely of the manufacturer, model, serial number, and caliber of pawned or purchased firearms to a third-party private provider that is exclusively incorporated, exclusively owned, and exclusively operated in the United States, and that restricts access to such information to only appropriate law enforcement agencies for legitimate law enforcement purposes. Such records must be destroyed within 30 days by the third-party provider. As a condition of receipt of such records, the third-party provider must agree in writing to comply with the requirements of this section. Any pawnbroker or second-hand dealer who contracts with a third-party provider other than as provided in this Act or electronically transmits any records of firearms transactions to any third-party provider other than the records specifically allowed by this paragraph commits a felony of the second degree, punishable as provided in S. 775.082 or S. 775.083. G. Records kept by the Department of Law Enforcement of NCHIC transactions to the extent required by federal law and a log of dates of requests for criminal history record checks, unique approval and non-approval numbers, license identification numbers, and transaction numbers corresponding to such dates. H. Records of an insurer that, as a condition to providing insurance against theft or loss of a firearm, identify such firearm. Such records may not be sold, commingled with records relating to other firearms, or transferred to any other person or entity. The insurer may not keep a record of such firearm more than 60 days after the policy of insurance expires or after notification by the insured that the insured is no longer the owner of such firearm. I. Lists of customers of a firearm dealer retained by such dealer, provided that such lists do not disclose the particular firearms purchased. Such lists, or any parts thereof, may not be sold, commingled with records relating to other firearms, or transferred to any other person or entity. J. Sales receipts retained by the seller of firearms or by a person providing credit for such purchase, provided that such receipts shall not serve as or be used for the creation of a database for registration of firearms. K. Personal records of firearms maintained by the owner of such firearms. L. Records maintained by a business that stores or acts as the selling agent of firearms on behalf of the lawful owner of the firearms. M. Membership lists of organizations comprised of firearm owners. N. Records maintained by an employer or contracting entity of the firearms owned by its officers, employees, or agents, if such firearms are used in the course of business performed on behalf of the employer. O. Records maintained pursuant to S. 790.06 by the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services of a person who was a licensee within the prior 2 years. P. Records of firearms involved in criminal investigations, criminal prosecutions, criminal appeals, and post-conviction motions, Civil proceedings relating to the surrender or seizure of firearms including protective injunctions, Baker Act commitments, and sheriff's levies pursuant to court judgments, and voluntary surrender by the owner or custodian of the firearm. Q. Paper documents relating to firearms involved in criminal cases, criminal investigations, and criminal prosecutions. Civil proceedings relating to the surrender or seizure of firearms including protective injunctions, Baker Act commitments, and sheriff's levies pursuant to court judgments, and voluntary surrender by the owner or custodian of the firearm. R. Non-criminal records relating to the receipt, storage or return of firearms, including, but not limited to, records relating to firearms impounded for storage or safekeeping, receipts proving that a firearm was returned to the rightful owner and supporting records of identification and proof of ownership, or records relating to firearms impounded pursuant to levies or court orders, provided, however, that such records shall not be compiled, sorted, or otherwise arranged into any lists, indexes, or registries of firearms or firearms owners. 4. Penalties. A. Any person who, or entity that, violates a provision of this section commits a felony of the third degree, punishable as provided in S. 775.082 or S. 775.083. B. Except as required by the provisions of S. 16, Art. I of the state constitution or the Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution, no public funds shall be used to defend the unlawful conduct of any person charged with a violation of this section, unless the charges against such person are dismissed or such person is determined to be not guilty at trial. Notwithstanding this paragraph, public funds may be expended to provide the services of the Office of Public Defense,